Hi, good morning, everybody. This is Bob Bothwell at the Health Licensing Office. I will call to order now. The Board of Electrologists and Body Art Practitioners meeting is convening at 10:07 a.m. on February 13th, 2023 at the Health Licensing Office in Salem, Oregon by telephone conference call. I'll now call roll. Matthew Holmes.
Present. Sorry, my mic was muted.
No problem. Lisa Chambliss.
Present.
Audrey Jones.
Present.
Ryan Othis.
I am here.
Thank you. Members, when you wish to speak, please state your last name for the record. Board members are asked to not use the chat feature during meetings. Public members wishing to speak must first sign in on the roster sheet as available. For public members calling in on the public telephone line, please email April Fleming at april.fleming, FLEMING, at dhsoha.state.or.us and provide your first and last name. Public and interested parties' feedback may be heard during the public and interested parties' feedback period if indicated on the agenda. Everyone is asked to use appropriate language, manners, and protocols when conducting board business. This meeting is called to order. All right. So first item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. If everybody's had an opportunity to review the agenda, I need someone to make a motion to approve the agenda.
This is Audrey Jones. I move to approve the agenda.
This is Lisa Chambliss. I second.
Okay, and this is Bob Bothwell. I will call roll. Matthew Holmes.
Present. Aye.
Lisa Chambliss.
Aye.
Audrey Jones.
Aye.
And Ryan Othis.
Aye.
Okay, agenda approved. Next on the agenda is approval of the 2023 chair and vice chair. So I have a statement that I'll read for everybody. Matthew Holmes has served as the chair and Seven Wolf served as the vice chair for the Board of Electrologists and Body Art Practitioners during 2022. The role of the chair in meetings is to officially call the meeting to order, keep order, and impose any necessary restrictions for the efficient and orderly conduct of the meeting, direct the flow of the meeting, and to ensure the meeting is conducted in a professional manner. Some key points regarding meeting protocols include board members wishing to speak must wait until addressed by the chair. Once addressed by the chair, the board member must state their name for the record before speaking. The chair guides members through the motion-making process. If public comment is being accepted by the board, audience members must wait to be addressed by the chair and their full name and affiliation with the board. Officially enter and exit executive session, officially adjourn the meetings. The role of the chair outside of meetings is to collaborate with the director regarding the board budget. The director may contact the chair to discuss the board budget regarding revenue, expenditures, and possible fee changes. Assist in generating meeting agendas. The board specialists or analysts may contact the chair to discuss the agenda for upcoming meetings, and the chair may be asked to comment on topics to be discussed and the format or order in which the topics should be presented at the meeting. The role of the vice chair must assume responsibilities of the chair if there is an absence or if the chair is no longer a member of the board. So what we can do now is make nominations, but let me run through the statistics for the board members, the status right now. Matthew Holmes was currently the chair, and he's in his second full term, and that term expires February 21 of 2025. and cannot reappoint. Ryan Othis is in his first full term. His term expires June 30th, 2025, and he can reappoint. Audrey Jones is in her first term and it expires March 14 of 2025, and she can reappoint. And Lisa is in her second full term, which expires January 31, 2024, and she cannot reappoint, and that is Lisa Chambliss, who I'm speaking of. So, there's a couple of options. If the board members want to keep Matthew, and if Matthew's willing to be chair, somebody can nominate him again. Or the board can nominate another member.
This is Ryan Othis. I nominate Matthew Holmes.
This is Matthew Holmes. I actually have a little bit to put forward on that end, and just want to make sure that it's okay with everybody and the state. I've had a fairly significant slew of family and personal emergencies that I won't go into on public record, but I am going to be taking a bit of a hiatus and will be more or less unreachable from April until the middle to end of September. So if that's a problem for anyone, then it might not be the best for me to be chairman of the board. If that is manageable, I'm happy to do what I can. But again, there's going to be an almost 6-month slew where I will be essentially unreachable and will not be working in any tattoo or piercing shops. And I intend to get back to my career path in September or October when I return. Sorry to drop a bomb on y'all.
Yes, thank you. A little bit to digest. This is Bob. So with hearing that, is there any additional recommendations, or does the board want to continue with Matthew as the chair?
This is Audrey Jones. Bob, what would be the protocol for this kind of situation where if Matthew is unavailable, who would take over, like in the absence if we did keep him as chair?
Thanks, Audrey. Yes, they would be who the board elects as the vice chair would step into that role.
Matthew, are you okay with keeping the position and then we just figure it out when you're gone?
I muted myself again. Sorry, this is Matthew Holmes. I'm completely comfortable with that situation, and with that time frame that I'm looking at, it looks like I'll miss one board meeting and then I'll be back for normal duties and everything. But again, I just wanted to be completely transparent. I wouldn't want to have anybody surprised by this, or if that disqualifies me from being on the board or the chairman of the board, I totally understand, but I got to take care of me.
Absolutely.
So Ryan made a motion. If that still stands, Ryan, does somebody want to make a second?
This is Audrey Jones and I second the motion.
Go ahead, Ryan. I saw you tried to speak, but you were muted.
Yeah, this is Ryan Othis. I just said my motion still stands.
Okay, thank you very much.
This is
All
Matthew
right.
Holmes. You guys are really kind.
So let me call roll to nominate Matthew Holmes as chair. Matthew Holmes,
Aye.
Ryan Othis,
Aye.
Audrey Jones,
Aye.
Lisa Chambliss.
Aye.
Okay. And this is Bob for vice chair. We have a nomination for vice chair, and one can absolutely nominate themselves.
This is Matthew Holmes. I nominate Ryan Othis for vice chair.
This is Audrey Jones. I second that motion.
This is Bob, thank you. And I'll make roll unless there's other discussion.
Well, this is Ryan Othis. That's surprising, but thank you all for the vote of confidence.
Of course.
Thank
So,
you, Ryan and Matthew. Appreciate you both stepping up.
Absolutely. This is what we're here
One
for.
day it'll be me. I just need to learn a little bit more, I feel.
You better watch out next year.
I know. I'm already like shaking in my boots.
okay, Chair and members of the board, I'll call roll now. Matthew Holmes.
Aye.
Ryan Othis.
Aye.
Audrey Jones.
Aye.
Lisa Chambliss.
Hi.
Very good. Thank you. So this is Bob Bothwell. Matthew, we are sending you some scripts and they should already be in your inbox.
Yes, sir.
I'm willing to continue my role now, if you need, but if you're ready to take over.
This is Matthew Holmes. I can take over if you'd like.
Yes, sir.
Right, so what are we doing from here?
Um, we are on board reports.
Oh, awesome.
Actually, the director's report, which will include the board reports, but yes, so this is Bob Bothwell, and we still have a body piercer, 2 body piercers vacant, and a public member position vacant on the board. So if anybody listening knows of anybody who may be interested, please put them in touch with HLO. Derek Foltz, he is on the meeting right now and listening. So if anybody is aware of anybody that's interested in being on the board and helping us with this process, then by all means have them contact us. All right, Chair and members of the board, I have in front of me, I don't have my computer up or my email, so I'm not going to be able to tell you what slide we're on at any particular time. I apologize for that. And I will go through the licensing and fiscal reports. Tattoo license issued in fiscal year 21, 22, and currently in fiscal year 23 has been a total of 745. Standard body piercing and specialty level piercings in that same time frame, fiscal year 21, 22, and currently in 23, we've had a total of 31 licenses issued. Chair, members of the board, if anybody has a question during any of this, please stop me and ask your question. I'd be happy to answer it. Earlobe piercing technicians, we've had a total of 75 licenses issued in that same time frame. In fiscal year 23, which is probably pretty relevant, we've had a total of 35 of that 75.
Wow.
Electrologist license issued in fiscal year 21, 22, and currently in 23, there have been 16, 5 of which are in this current fiscal year. Tattoo artist renewals, we've had a total of 3,838, and the vast majority of those were done online. Renewals for standard body piercing and specialty level piercings, we've had a total of 274, 72 of those were in fiscal year 23, and the vast majority of those are done online as well. Earlobe piercing technician renewals, a total of 158, and the majority of those are online as well. And in fiscal year 23, we've had 28 renewed. Electrologist renewals, In the same time frame, 210, and in fiscal year 23, we've had a total of 52. And the vast majority of those are online as well. Anybody have any questions at this point?
Gotta love those internets. It's really nice to see so many online renewals.
Yes.
Save those
It,
trees.
Yep, save those trees and it goes by much faster. We're able to keep the licensing folks busy on other things.
Awesome.
Licensing trends. We've got 811 currently in fiscal year 23, and that's up by about 200 since Q1 of fiscal year 21. That's good to see. Earlobe piercing technicians have dropped a little bit. They're down to 105 in Q3 of fiscal year 23, down from 128 in Q1 of fiscal year 21. Electrologists, from a high of 79 in Q1 to 76 in Q3 of fiscal year 23. But, you know, we're in the fiscal year, so that doesn't end until June. End of June, so I'm sure this number will move back up towards 79 or hopefully higher. Licensing trends for specialty body piercing 1 and 2 from a low of 17 in Q1 of fiscal year 21 to a high currently in Q3 of 21. The number issued is 21 in fiscal year 23. And that's as of Q3. Temporary body piercing technicians, in Q1 of fiscal year 2021, there was 85. And currently in Q3 of fiscal year 2023, we're at 97. Licensing trends for tattoo artists have grown from Q1 of 2021, 1,411 to 1,942 now in Q3 of fiscal year 23. Standard body piercing has moved upwards from 68 in Q1 of fiscal year 21 to currently 76 in Q3 of fiscal year 23. Licenses by age and gender. It's fairly ever growing between 26 and 33 years of age. There's 582. And between ages 34 and 41, there's 600, and those identifying as female and male are on par, 300 apiece. Next slide is our testing statistics. And if everybody's had a chance to review that, does anybody have any questions?
It's Matthew Holmes. No questions
Yes, sir.
from me.
Okay, moving on to the financials. So in fiscal year 2023, the board stands at $1,040,518. And your shared assessment has actually decreased from 3.9 and increased. They got these on here backwards. From fiscal year 2020, 3.148% to 3.928%. And the small board assessment has decreased from 26.3 down to 24.49%. And examinations have increased from 4.311 to 6.724%. And the inspections have also increased from 10.776 to 11.696. Any questions on the financial report?
Looks like we're doing pretty good.
Awesome. Moving pretty quickly. Okay. So we'll move to the regulatory report. Trampashuck, are you on here?
I am. Can you guys hear me? Or everybody hear me?
We can hear you.
Loud and clear.
All right. So currently, as you can see on the regulatory report, we actually have 3 biennium that still are showing up on this. However, that one that's showing up on the 2019, I peeked into that situation, and that actually is all complete. It's just waiting for a notice to go out. So just so you know, the back end process, when we, once we complete an investigation and the report is sent in, and whether it needs to go to the board for review or not, or if it's just a set civil penalty, it's not actually closed in our system, clicked over to closed until that notice actually is put in the mail. That's kind of our point where we say it's the investigation and everything is closed. So that's just where that one is, just in case anybody was wondering. The rest of the report showing the 2021 biennium and then the partial 2023 biennium, you can see out of a total of 109 from the 2021 biennium, 109 complaints filed with us. We have 32 that are still in various states of being open, whether that's during the investigation or waiting for my review or whatnot. And then you can see the 2023 biennium, which is newer. There are 33 complaints that came in. 9 are closed from that already, and there are 24, but that's to be expected to see more open than closed in the brand new biennium. So yeah, and it kind of breaks down. You guys have a lot of different licensing types, and it breaks down. You can see which types of licensees are getting more complaints or less complaints or no complaints, and some of the broad categories on the right for the type of complaint that they were. Does anybody have any questions about this report or questions about investigations in general that I might be able to answer? Well, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair, members of the board, Chair, if you would be kind enough to read us into public and interested parties' feedback. If you're ready to move on to that.
At this time, the Board of Electrologists and Body Arts Practitioners will hear public/interested parties' feedback. Members of the public, please wait until you have been recognized. Once recognized, please state your name and affiliation to the board for the record.
Good morning. On the phone, this is Bob Bothwell with the Health Licensing Office. Brenda Cox, are you still on the phone? Angela Kephart. I'm sorry. You know what? I had the volume turned down on this. Brenda, were you there and did you want to make a comment?
I thought, yes, I do want to make a comment, but I thought we were going to be hearing some things first before comments were, at least about our profession at this point, what was going forward, but I can go ahead and do it now if you wish.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay, so my comment is about in regards to the changes that are proposed, if they set in stone already. This probably doesn't make any difference, but my opinion is that I would really love to see this not happen because of the things that are, I believe it lowers our standard, our profession. I believe that people should actually go to a licensed school. And even though we don't have one here, I attended a college out of state. For example, I also went to an electrology school out of state because I chose to get into this profession and do the best job that I can do. And in order to achieve that, I wanted to attend the best school that there was in the country. And I was not by any means a rich person to do that. I just made it happen. And I got my license back in 1993 for the state of Oregon and the state of California. And I see things that are happening in our state as it is with some of the electrologists that are out there, and I just don't want our standards to get lower. I'm seeing a lot of overtreatment, and I think 2 years of experience, even if it's 3, and what qualifies that as 2 or 3 years of experience is different for everyone because not everybody starts with a full practice, and not everybody, when they get out of school, feels like they have the confidence in order to teach people. And I think it should be left to instructors to be teaching this profession. The other comment I had about this was what frustrates me is I am a woman who has hair on my face because of health issues. I know I have women that come into my office that have beards on their faces, and none of us with health issues that create that, besides, of course, tweezing, waxing, and threading increases hair growth. And what I'm trying to say is that none of my situation is taken care of by insurances. It's all out of pocket for me. And I think that that's an unfair situation for a lot of my clients because they come to me with a full beard and nobody helps them with their treatments. I also wish, even though this is not on the table, I wish that the practical was back in as far as the exam is concerned, because I think that's an integral part of this profession. It's very important that people know how to run their machines, how to use them, and also to be able to make insertions, because that's a lot of what happens in my profession as far as making issues, or not making issues, excuse me, but skin damage has to do with insertion properly, not using the current, all sorts of things. It has to do with an education. And I honestly feel that an education for electrology should be done in a school setting. And if you have to go out of state for that, then so be it, if we don't have one here. But to bring the standards down just in order to make somebody an electrologist is unacceptable to me. And I've been doing this for 30 years as of this year. And I do not like to see that our standards go downward, because our state was even looked at by other states because of the standards that we had once before, but this takes away from it. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Angela Kephart, do you want to make a comment?
I don't know a lot about electrology, but I can speak
Angela.
from the point of, yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead. I was getting a question in my other ear, sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Can you hear me?
can you hear us?
So I don't know a lot of subject of electrology, and its regulations. Through them, I'm calling more of a concern from a body piercing stance, because I know this is practical with that test, and I feel like it's kind of almost completely prohibited in the state of Oregon to acquire licensing, because it's so lopsided as far as other states go. I think that probably the same answer for the electrology. Testing and practical exams, these two, look at our surrounding states. I mean, we've got a lot of them, and what do they require? And it's proportionate to those surrounding states, then maybe we're being too prohibitive with our testing and requirements, which is what I feel that actually body piercing has become. I've been a licensed tattoo artist in Oregon since 1988, and I held a body piercing license for about 7 years, and have been in the progress of obtaining that license. So I think that Oregon really needs to come back to looking at states surrounding us and what requirements are there, instead of tacking on extra requirements because our practitioners may not want people in the industry. I myself feel the tattoo industry is completely oversaturated and the requirements for that are ridiculously low. Then again, if you look at other states, they don't even have an education program. So at least we have that. So would be my comment on that.
Okay, thank you very much. Sheila?
I sent my public comment in, but after listening to Brenda's comments, I would like to say something about instructors in schools. I really applaud her comment. At the same time, I think we've got a problem because if there were to be a school start in Oregon again, still have the same situation that we don't have qualifications for instructors, for a school instructor, as I understand it, because HEC took it over, and you could only be considered a teacher if you were teaching in the school, and the school could hire whoever they want without having the instructor taking any sort of instructor exam. It was eliminated. So but I don't know if the standards for a teacher are going to be much different or better, or could be worse. Whatever the higher education or whatever the heck acronym stands for. And I apologize if I have forgotten how that goes. That's the best my memory. That the instructor's exam disappeared with step in over. So I don't know that our rules on that would prohibit that situation. If there were to be a school again, it would be great, but that's still a problem. That's all.
Okay, thank you very much. Jamie Bloom?
Yes, can everybody hear me?
Well, we can on this end. Board members, the chair, can you hear the phone?
Yeah, this is Ryan Opus. Yeah, I can hear.
Okay, everybody can hear you. Go ahead.
All right. I am very, very concerned. I was on the committee that made the new rules, and I'm thrilled about it because it's the same 600 hours that a school taught. No, we do not have a school here. I happen to be one of those people, and I think the only one, but I'm not sure about that, who basically took a test to become an electrolysis instructor. And I would say that was about 30 years ago. And that was run by the health licensing office. Then it was switched to the education department. And the only way you can get, I was considered an instructor. The people that were now teaching at the schools were called something else, and I'm sorry, but I don't remember what. But the only way you can get that designation is if you worked for a school. Now, I did not want to work for a school. I wanted to basically do advanced electrolysis teaching. And so I lost that credential. That's okay. But what's happening now, the American Electrology Association says that anybody in an unlicensed state that can teach chairside has to have a minimum of 5 years experience. Now, when I was on this committee and they said 2 years, I thought that was a big problem, because if somebody's an electrologist for 2 years, does that mean they're working for 2 hours a week, or does that mean they're working 20 hours a week? 2 years, if you're working 20 hours a week, is not enough time to really get your technique down strong. As I said, the American Electrology Association said 5 years. They also say that you have to have your CPE. Now, the American Electrology Association gives a test called CPE, Certified Professional Electrology. And in order to pass that test, it's run by Prometric, so it's reliable and everything is above board. They basically used to give the SAT test, and this way at least we got the knowledge that the person knows what education they need. But there's still no way of knowing, because I do know a couple of CPEs that are not good practitioners. I agree with Brenda wholeheartedly, and I used to be myself, Sheila. I think Brenda did it a couple of times too, and there were other people who were the examiners for the practical exam. I really agree with Brenda. We should have a practical exam. And if we do go to chairside practice, I really feel the person doing the teaching should have at least 5 years experience. But I also feel that even though they're going to sign off that these people are good, I still think we should have a practical exam of somebody else's eyes looking at what these people are actually doing. The chances of really doing horrific damage is nil, but you don't want to overtreat the skin. You don't want to leave red marks. There are so many things, and when you give a practical exam, you can weed out those people really fast that don't know what they're doing. And doing it chairside, you don't even know if these people have the expertise to teach. Now, I happen to be a former New York State licensed teacher, but I had to go through a lot of hoops to get that designation. And it was in, teaching emotionally handicapped and phys ed. But you just can't make somebody a teacher. They have to take a test. Doing it and teaching it is two different things. At that point, I will stop because I think I'm taking up too much time. But I really agree with Sheila and Brenda. I've been in the profession over 35 years, no, over 40 years now. And I'm worried about chairside teaching. And I know Sheila has brought it up. I don't know where you're going to get an insurance company for malpractice if you're a teacher a lot of insurance companies will not insure, chairside teaching, or they won't, if something happens, they're not going to insure you, and they're not going to insure the person that's learning. So that's going to be a financial difficulty. At that point, I thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you very much. Lacey, are you there, and did you want to make comment?
Good morning. I am here. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Lacey Keeney. I'm an electrologist in Eugene, Oregon. I primarily focus on surgical needs for electrolysis. I'm not sure people on the board or people that are listening know that electrolysis is very, very, very important for surgical procedures for transitional as well as polycystic ovarian syndrome. 98% of what I do is done in that aspect of things. I am multi-licensed or multi-state licensed. I'm licensed in the state of California as well as Oregon, but 97% of my practice is done in the state of Oregon. I have taught in the state of California for American Institute of Education, but I'm going to come at this with kind of a different aspect than the other ladies have. I'm coming at this because I was born a person that intersects with who's transitionally experienced. In other words, I was born both and have transitioned fully to female. The importance of electrology to my community, being the transgender community and pre-surgical, is so important. It's crazy. I took part in all of the preliminaries of this, and I will agree with Jamie. There are some things that I felt were kind of undercut and a little bit, not the best it should have been, but I still feel like that through all the committees and the people that were involved in the committee that we did have a really good outcome of that and one that is viable and usable. The problem that lies though is that within the state of Oregon, we're still short electrologists and we need to meet the needs of the community and the people that need those services. I do feel like down the road eventually though, that like tattooing piercing and other like aesthetics, that we do need to have a more advanced license somewhere down in the future for people who do medical services and needs with electrology. I hope that's coming sometime in the future. But I do look forward to doing chairside apprenticeships in the state. For a lot of people who do know me, I'm one of very, very few in the state of Oregon. It takes most all medical insurances to do this kind of work and have gone the extra mile. Plus, I'm also able to and have a staff position so I can do it under anesthetization, which I feel is like the most humane way to do this, where the patient doesn't feel the pain of the electrolysis. But what I'm here to say is that, even though that there were some things that got kind of gutted out of the requirements that I feel like were important to have in there. But I think that what we did come out with was really good. It has 600 hours to it. I hope and pray that the people that go through the training for this and the ones that are also take the responsibility to be an instructor or be, the master, supposedly, electrologist teaching the apprentice, that you take it very, very, very seriously and understand the levity of that position and make sure that you realize that, as far as the rest of the electrologists go, that we look at this as, it's your reputation on the line as to what you're teaching and putting out into the community. Now, from the transgender community, I also look at this and say, hey, we need electrologists badly for our community. I know that myself, Jamie Bloom, Sheila, we all have very, very, even Audrey Jones on the board there. I think we all have very long, extensive waiting lists for a lot of the work that we do. Mine can be as long as 2 years. So we need electrologists. I'm willing to step up and train electrologists. I've helped teach in California. As long as, I put someone out, I'm going to put my stamp of approval on that. That's my reputation out there, practicing after the training and stuff is done. I would like to address what was said by the First Lady Brenda. Brenda, I have a pool of doctors that I've gathered together, and we're willing to go and present in front of the HERC board to try to get the insurance portion of PCOS changed. I would invite her to please contact me if she would like to be part of that. We would love to have it. The more, the better, and the better to take to the state boards. But I am all for this. I think it's a great idea. Is 2 years too little? You know, if you're a good electrologist, I'm gonna tell you, no, it's not too little. Are you a confident electrologist? Well, no, it's not too little. But if you're someone who is timid and doesn't know your practice, then you might want to hold off for a year or so. But that's, you know, that's neither here nor there. But I really do think, as a transgender female and someone who practices within the community, that this is a very, very, very good, very important, and a very needed thing within that community. And same with women who have polycystic ovarian syndrome and other medical issues that cause hypertrichosis and Harrisdom, as well as women who go through hormonal issues. So with that said, I'm excited for board approval, and I'm excited to be able to get started on this. And I'm excited. I've already got students lined up, ready to go, and waiting on board approval and the green flag to go ahead on this. So I'd like to thank the board for listening to me, and the other people, the audience and stuff, for their time and considerations of this. And I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Did you want to comment? Okay.
Let's talk about Desta's email.
Yeah. Everybody on the phone, thank you very much for your comments. Chair, members of the board, is also in public interested parties feedback. You all in your package received an email from Desta Fury. Does everybody have that?
Yes, sir. It's Matthew Holmes. I've read it too.
And then also attached to that was an email from one of our licensing staff. Chair, members of the board, did anybody want to comment on the emails?
This is Matthew Holmes. To a degree, having read through this email, I don't entirely agree with a lot of the sentiment here. I mean, first off, it doesn't take 18 months to retrain somebody for a license. It's a bit of a silly factor. I mean, maybe to teach a brand new person to pierce, but if this individual is looking for like already skilled workers and bringing them into Oregon, I don't see why it would take 18 months to retrain anybody for much of anything. But ultimately, it just seems like, in reading through this, it's more of a complaint that there's a limited number of available piercers, and this individual is having a hard time hiring a full enough staff. And the biggest fix that I see for this in here, other than just a lot of, I don't know, general complaining, would be to like increase the amount of practical exams, increase the availability of tests for people to be more available to more instantaneously switch into a local shop here in Oregon and work. I don't think increasing the time frame in which you can have a guest license in this state makes any sense. I mean, at that point, just get a license here. You're a guest. It is supposed to be a temporary thing. But the quarterly practical I can see is a bit of a problem for people that don't know how to plan or have really, really busy schedules. I don't know what everybody's individual situation is. But in all honesty, a lot of this just kind of seems like a vent. And not a whole lot of it is the board's responsibility to take care of. I do agree with the practical exam, though. I think that could happen more often. That's my 2 cents worth.
Thank you. Anybody else on the,
This is
I-
Audrey Jones. Oh,
Can you hear
sorry.
me?
Go ahead.
Audrey, go ahead.
This is
Hang
Audrey
on, Audrey.
Jones.
Audrey,
just
this is
didn't-
Bob. Hold on one
Hi, Bob.
second.
Okay.
Turn it down.
Folks on the phone, give me a minute and maybe we'll have time to get back to you if the chair approves it. But we're having the board give us their feedback now. Please stand by. Go ahead, Audrey.
This is Audrey Jones, and I agree with what Matthew was saying about the practical exam. And I only can just bring on my own experience of back when I was in electrolysis school some odd years ago, and they only offered the practical exam like 3 or 4 times a year. And it was a huge deciding factor on me even working in Oregon. So I'm not sure what the holdoffs are on having more exams. But I think that's something that definitely should be looked into if there's a way to change that to make it flow better for people trying to get into this profession.
So, okay. On the phone, was there somebody else that would like to make public comment? Please state your name.
Yes, wait, this is Angela Pepper. So I think that's previous body, as I said, and when I first started trying to get my license back in 2017, I actually called around to just about every spot that anybody could have had it. So to try to find training. Now, I was able to find it. I had to seek my reciprocity out of state as a lack of program. And now the state board examination puts me at a position of liability because I actually have to bring a client from out of town and I have to go over the sand path, which is extremely icy and dangerous. And when I came back just a couple weeks ago, there was fatal wrecks on that path. And some of the people that were in live, 7 hours away. And the fact that 4 months of, only 4 times a year makes it extremely ridiculous. There is no practical when it comes to tattooing, which I feel like just lopsided in licensing. There, if you're going to do a practical piercing, then have one on tattooing. Also, our own semester is away with their practical exams and taking a more comprehensive written test. So I would urge the board to completely do away with the body piercing practical, make a more comprehensive written test that is put together by our piercers that are, have more experience as I do in industry, and get that out of there.
Angela, thank you very much. Also on the phone, now the public comment is over, and can you please mute your phones? Somebody's getting bleed over on the call here. Okay. Chair, members of the board, this is Bob. Can we take about a 5-minute break?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's Matthew Holmes, absolutely.
Okay, it is 11:01 and we'll be back at 11:06.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.